Did original sin take place? Is this a myth? Well, that's what I'll answer with the Church: yes. Original sin really took place, even if it is told in the Bible, with this mythical literary genre. How can I say that with such certainty? And quite simply, it must be remembered that the Catholic religion is not a religion of the book alone. Yes, there is the book. There is also the tradition of saints who have reflected throughout history, the history of Israel, and then the saints of the Church who reflected on this story of original sin, who put it in especially with Saint Augustine, and then with the Magisterium of the Church, that is, the Pope, clothed in charism, who protects him from error, as regards the doctrine of salvation, which confirmed, the original sin did indeed take place. Pope Paul VI, in 1968, while disputed, this original sin, reminded him in the Creed. The Creed of the Catholic Church of Vatican II teaches that original sin really took place. So some Protestants say, but no, it's not told in the Bible. If it is told in the Bible textually, it is in chapter 2 of the book of Genesis, that certainly the name of original sin is a late theological name, dating back to Christendom. St. Paul in one of his epistles confirms, by the sin of one man death has entered the world, and by one man, Christ, life has returned to the world. One could add, while what happened in practice? Well, it's up to theologians to reconstruct. It has happened that a man and a spiritual woman, that is to say endowed with a spiritual soul, created by God, well of the grace of God, it means with a presence of God almost palpable, to the point where he knew as wise, what he did on earth, which was not to be done. And God asked them to love each other, to make children, to love God, and simply gave him a ban: do not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. This is what is called the mythical literary genre. What is this tree actually? It is not to decide for oneself what is good and bad with their pride, but to obey God who put humility and the love of God and neighbor first. Dressed in grace, Adam and Eve were naked and not ashamed. It means that their body was totally obeying their spirit. They could not sin because of weakness. He reflected on another proposal from the devil, from the rebellious angel, who said to them, if God does not want you to eat little tree there, it is not at all because he wants your good, because he wants to dominate you. If you choose good and evil yourself, your eyes will open, you will be free as gods, and they followed this external suggestion of the devil. This is original sin. In what does it concern us? Well, being perfectly wise, being in full knowledge, they chose for us, their future child, to be born, to be conceived, and to be born separated from this presence of God. They did it for our good, wanting us to be born free, therefore we are clothed by the choice of Adam and Eve, this absence of God, which is called original sin, a bit like mom and dad now, if they do not want to baptize their kids. It is their most strict right. The Holy Spirit will obey. He will not be baptized. He will not have the presence of God, palpable in his heart, like every little child. And that is why the Church is for the baptism of the children, since it brings to the children this presence. It's still a treasure. It's not just adherence to an ideology.